Ricky, I love the way you're dressed right now.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.
Did you do this on purpose? Did you just keep it on purpose?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you just got out.
I'm blue shirt guy.
You are blue shirt guy.
Hey. I just leveled up.
All right. You guys ready? This is the Drive-In Podcast, episode 50, take one. Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome to the 50th episode of the Drive-In Podcast. On today's episode, we have the Express Checkup with yours truly, Dr. O. We have our review of Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy. And then we have our top billing draft of the best rom-coms featuring a very special guest, Peyton Olekna. That is right. The sister to Ricky Flicks and Dr. O will be joining us for top billing today for our 50th episode. So use the bathroom now, grab that popcorn, and enjoy the 50th episode of the Drive-In Podcast. Fellas, episode 50, 5-0. I'm looking at both Ricky Flicks and Nez for the first time in a long time at the same time, and they both look fabulous. Fabulous. We got Nez sporting a throwback Knicks jersey. Oh, not a throwback?
RJ Barrett. And then
we have Ricky Flicks dressed as Free Guy himself, Mr. Blue Shirt, both looking stellar.
Thank you.
So I think this is where we're gonna start off. First off, we have to welcome back Nez. Nez, how are you, bud?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. It feels so good to be back off of my little hiatus. I'm excited to be here, ready to talk, the latest movie news. Guys, I do have something to tell you. I know I mentioned it, but on a past podcast with the intention of doing it, but I must say I think I'm about 5 seasons deep into The Sopranos right now.
Let's
absolutely
go.
Crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. I think there was one Sunday. I think I went through season 2 in one day.
It's addicting. It's an addicting show. It's so good.
It's good.
So you left? Are you at the end of season 5, or where are you at right now?
I'm not. I think I'm like in the beginning of season 5.
Okay, so you basically have a season and a half to go.
Yeah.
Buckle up. It's gonna get crazy.
Oh no, that's what people have been saying since the first season. They're like, "Oh, just wait, you haven't even seen anything yet."
It's just the level. It has its own levels. It just every season just hits something different and on a crazier scale.
Let us not forget what Nez promised us. He promised that he was going to watch The Sopranos through before the Many Saints of Newark. That is a followed through prophecy right there. So Nez committing to the grind. I
much
love
ahead of schedule as well. We're in middle of August, and that movie doesn't come out for another 2 months.
I think we should have a Sopranos review podcast, and we just like give out superlatives, discuss the show and whatnot.
Dude, I think, yeah, I might watch season 5 and 6, and then we just review right after, or we do a season 5 review, then a season 6. I'm so down.
I don't know why, Dr. O, but you're giving me big Artie Bucco vibes. I think it's because the hat is hiding your hair. It looks like you're bald down the middle.
Are you kidding me?
That's not a compliment.
I'm gonna have to go backwards. That is disgusting. That's a disgusting comment.
That's some way to start the podcast. That's a big diss.
He was one of my favorite characters for like the first couple seasons.
Nez takes a little couple episode hiatus, comes back on the show, first 3 minutes to go and the doctor Artie Bucco.
Dude, I don't know if I can recover from this for the rest of the episode.
He's not that bad,
dude.
Unless I'm missing out.
Looks wise.
Unless
Artie Bucco. Oh man. I do have the hair. I'll show the YouTube.
You have hair. You have hair. It was with the hat. With the hat where it where it looks like kind of the baby face a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I do look like I'm bald if I do that. Okay. And then I also want to say I had to tell a story. I want to tell a story because I gave it to Ricky Flicks a couple days ago. And I'm going to tell Nez here and tell all the listeners. It's the most outrageous scenario I've been in a long time. So I had this side gig where I do a dine, like a Uber Eats type of business where I deliver food from restaurants to like upscale homes, right? Like or upscale restaurants to homes. So it's a nice gig. I get paid 100% of tips. It's awesome. So I'm in the car basically for 5 hours, driving around, eats up all my gas. And the thing is, I stop at this one gas station all the time. This is my go-to gas station. I have to get water, snacks, combos. More importantly, if I have to use the bathroom, I can't just be going to all these restaurants and like, okay, I got to use your bathroom, and then grab their food and bring it to these customers. All right. So this is my go-to gas station. I walk in, right? I would say it was Saturday morning. I go in, purchase some snacks, purchase a big water because I know it's going to be 95 degrees outside. Then I ask the person behind the register, hey, can I use your bathroom? And usually he says yes. There's like a COVID sign in the bathroom, like bathroom is closed. But I'm the exception because I'm a special customer. I go there all the time. I ask him this Saturday and he says no. I'm like, what? Why? Like, what's going on? He goes like, you know what you did. He said that to me. He said, you know what you did. And I'm like, no, I honestly don't. What's going on? And then he goes, you pee on top. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I got pee. I missed the bowl. I'm like, he's like, no, you pee on top. He was accusing me of putting the seat down and peeing all over the top of the toilet. What kind of animal would do that? And I had a good relationship with this guy. Like we're like boys. I see him all the time. And then I erupted and he erupted. And it was an all-out screaming match. I said, why would I do this? No one else in the gas station at this point. And he said, you know what you did. I'm like, no, I don't. I would never do that. What kind of person does that? All out, back and forth. And then as I'm leaving, I said, you've lost my business. I will never go to this gas station again. Sayonara. And then the guy was just, I guess, fine with it. But it was just the most ridiculous accusation I've ever been a part of. And I will, as a moment of solidarity, I will never go back to this gas station because of that accusation.
Wow. So the lid was on. So you put the seat down and then you have the toilet bowl seat down as well. And someone just didn't bother to put the lid up. Not just the seat, but also the actual
literally
lid.
the top of the toilet to cover the toilet seat. And he was accusing me of just peeing all over it. Who does that?
Yeah, that's a new one. I think I didn't understand that when you were telling me the story. I thought the guy was just accusing you of peeing on the seat, the lid, not the lid, but the actual seat.
No, the top of it.
The lid.
I've never been so insulted in my life, other than the fact that Nez called me Artie Bucco in the beginning of this episode.
Well, hold on. If you're the exception, right? Like that means there's a very few amount of people that use that restroom. Does he says no to most people?
Yeah, it's a sign on the door. Like I have a good relationship with that guy because I say, hey, I buy something. Hey, use your bathroom. He's like, yeah, of course. Like good relationship. And then this happened.
So somebody had to have done it. And I don't know. I'm guessing he must feel really confident that it was you.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone more confident. That's confident.
Not good.
He was not backing down. But I was just like, even if I was like, there's been no ill will between me and him, or there's been nothing wrong that's happened. Then all of a sudden he's accusing me of just peeing all over the top of the toilet. The top of it.
So if I were you, I guess first off, actually, what time of the day was this at?
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
It's not like I was like it's not like it was like a late weekend, like had a couple drinks and had to use the bathroom, peed all over it. I'm working for a delivery service. I'm wearing the shirt.
And you took your stuff, like your water and whatever, your snacks. You took it.
No, I left them on the counter.
You left them on the counter.
Yeah. I leave them on the counter. I say, I buy them, say, hey, can I use the bathroom? I go use the bathroom, pick them up, leave.
Yeah,
that's
so you picked it up and left the gas station. See, I would have been like, all right.
Oh, okay.
Return. I want my money back. I'll give this back to you. I'm returning these. And I would have made him that would have been probably the first time he's ever had to like take a return at a gas station.
Yeah, like after. Yeah, so that you're saying after the argument. Obviously, no. I was thirsty, man. I needed that water. I that water.
I know what's next for us here. Exclusive 60 minutes interview with the gas station clerk at that gas station.
Oh,
we're gonna get to the bottom
sit down.
of this. A drive-in sit down. We're gonna get it. We're organizing a sit down. Yeah.
What we should have done in honor of
moderate. This. I'm not going to get him. You guys got to go get him.
In honor of this, we should have done the top billing of gas station snacks.
Ooh,
that would have been solid.
Maybe next time.
Yes.
but we do have an amazing guest today for top billing. A perfect guest for rom-coms with our sister, me and Ricky Flick's sister, Peyton. I don't know if she has a nickname yet, just like our predecessors, J-Man and Mayo. Maybe Peyton has a good nickname up her sleeve too.
We'll see.
Are you guys ready for some movie news?
Hit it.
Yeah.
Let's check the audiences up. Ryan Reynolds is confirmed with a tweet that a Free Guy sequel is in the works at Disney. Free Guy is a critical hit and has made $28.4 million at the domestic box office in its opening weekend. Next up on the checkup, Denis Villeneuve claims Zendaya will play the main protagonist in the sequel to Dune. Timothée Chalamet will hold top billing for the first movie, which is set to hit theaters October 22nd, 2021. Next up, Emma Stone has closed a deal with Disney to return for Cruella 2. Guess those lawsuit rumors amounted to zero, zilch. Next up, Scarlett Johansson and Margot Robbie have joined the cast for Wes Anderson's next film. The film's cast already includes Tom Hanks, Bill Murray, Adrian Brody, Jason Schwartzman, and Tilda Swinton. Anderson's The French Dispatch drops in theaters on October 22nd, 2021. The aforementioned film comes afterwards. Next up, Ethan Hawke says his villainous role in Marvel's Moon Knight was inspired by cult leader David Koresh. If you've never heard of Koresh, check out Waco on Netflix. Let's go, Taylor Kish. Finally, Shia Labeouf has been cast as the lead in Abel Ferrara's next film. How is this man getting work right now? The film will focus on Padre Pio, an Italian monk who lived from 1887 to 1968 and who allegedly experienced stigmata. Willem Dafoe is also circling a role in the same film. That does it for the checkup this week. Ricky Flicks, which headline captures your attention?
Well, I don't want to cover too much on Free Guy since that is our review this week, but I guess with Ethan Hawke, did you guys see how he actually got the role for in Moon Knight?
You talked about it off screen with me, so I know.
Oh, okay. I don't remember, but I don't know if you know, Nez, but he said in an interview this week that he was just in a coffee shop and Oscar Isaac was there and just went up to him and said that he liked the movie The Good Lord Bird. And then Ethan Hawke said in response, "Cool, I like your work." And then Oscar Isaac immediately said, "Do you want to be in Moon Knight with me?" And he said yes on the spot. He said that's how it went down. So just goes Hollywood. To show Hollywood. Yeah, exactly. Hollywood is still cool.
That's showbiz, baby.
And that is so Hollywood.
Just ridiculous that even happened. But just off that news, David Koresh, Waco, Taylor Kitsch. Love Taylor Kitsch. Hope he's going to be more stuff coming up. But definitely that's a cult leader. Like, this show's going to be crazy. Moon Knight is going to be nuts. Looking forward to it.
Naz, any thoughts?
On Moon Knight? No, I mean, I'm excited about it. Even more excited now with Ethan Hawke. I want to talk about my boy, though, coming back. Shia LaBeouf. Let's go.
Your boy.
Huge Shia LaBeouf fan. Huge. Seems like a weird movie. And I'm interested in whether or not it will be like, like have some sort of fantasy element into it, or if it's going to be just like almost like a biopic.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Like, and like obviously like a guy who experiences stigmata in the 20th century, that's always like kind of like fascinating. And like what he actually went through, and how is it going to be portrayed in the movie? Is it going to be I assume it's going to be very religiously tied to Christianity and everything,
right?
And then having Shia LaBeouf, like, this is like he's attempting his like second comeback in like 5 years. Like he was back. The Shia-Sans was on, right? Then obviously the sexual abuse and like the domestic abuse accusations and lawsuit, whatever, happened like 8 months ago. And now he's coming back. I can't believe he's actually getting roles right now. It's kind of shocking to say the least. And let alone a movie, and then let alone with a movie that is also going to have Willem Dafoe in it. So it's like he's getting another chance so early, you know?
Right.
I just want to go on the record here. I don't think I was aware of the domestic abuse stuff. So maybe put an asterisk on me saying I'm a huge fan, because
I was cringing as you were saying that. You're like, Shia LaBeouf, huge fan. I was like,
I had no idea. Guys. I'm sorry.
But like, he's playing an Italian monk, like Shia LaBeouf playing a monk. It's just with these allegations looming, like it seems kind of
so
odd.
Ironic.
Yeah, it's just very weird. And like, Abel Ferrara, like I can only think of Bad Lieutenant, Harvey Keitel movie in the early 90s, I believe. So like I'm not too familiar with the name, not too critically, like he's not like one of the best filmmakers out there. He's not necessarily poor if you made Bad Lieutenant, I'm just saying. But when you put Willem Dafoe, seems like he's in everything right now, everything good coming in the next couple years. Like, all right, like sign me up. Shia and Willem Dafoe sharing a screen. It has to, like, this is gonna be must see cinema.
Absolutely. And did you guys see that Willem Dafoe quote regarding Spider-Man 3?
Oh yeah.
He's so
No.
like he is like the worst. Alfred Molina is the absolute worst. Where he did say like I am in Spider-Man No Way Home, and everybody was like, and like obviously Kevin Feige's like I'm going to murder this guy for saying this. But then you have Willem Dafoe, who's like when he gets consistently asked about this question, like are you going to appear in it? He says I will talk about the movies when they are released or something like that. It was to that extent.
Yeah, that's a good paraphrase.
Basically was a dead giveaway. Like, yeah, I'm in this movie, but I can't talk about it. Just like leave me alone, pretty much. So, I mean, like this trailer has to come for Spider-Man 3 sooner rather than later. And I also was thinking a question I wanted to pose to you guys before the checkup. The Batman, the trailer, that movie comes out in 200 days officially from today. When this podcast drops, 199. So people are saying Spider-Man No Way Home will be the most viewed trailer of all time. Like in terms of YouTube viewer numbers. Do you think the Batman could actually be that to rival Spider-Man No Way Home? Do you think those numbers could be basically overtaken by the Batman?
Yes. I agree.
think so too.
The first trailer was so successful that people are just going to watch the second one more so because of that first one.
Also, people are kind of sick of Marvel. Batman only comes around every so often, and this is a solo Batman movie. How long ago was the last solo Batman movie? I mean, this is huge. This is bigger than Spider-Man. Spider-Man's had a couple, and he's been in the Avengers. People are sick of it. I just think people are way more excited for Batman. And also DC fans are super loyal. It's insane.
It's like fascinating because like these are literally the two biggest, like I would say, box office superheroes in history. No offense to Superman, but I think Spider-Man and Batman are the ones everyone wants to see. Now, I guess Iron Man obviously entered that stratosphere, but obviously that character's gone.
But pre-2008 included all of history.
Right. Like, yes, all of box office history. The Batman, when the first trailer dropped at DC Fandom, after only 25% of the film had been shot at DC Fandom, that was a phenomenon. People were saying this was one of the greatest trailers ever made. I literally said it was the greatest DC project since the Dark Knight trilogy. Like just that trailer alone, it was so good. And I can't imagine like building up after this first trailer, right? Probably going to drop another one at DC Fandom this year. That's going to happen in October. Like people are just yearning for this movie. And then the fact that we're going to get it back-to-back DC Fandoms, it's going to be an actual event where we're seeing it. And I know Disney is going to have a Disney Plus Day. They had Disney Investors Day last year. So
sorry, no.
I don't know what's going on. I'm missing the boat. I'm with you, audience.
I was looking at Ness. He was flipping his hand back and forth. I thought he wanted me to pause. I couldn't tell what he was doing. I'm going to say that for the YouTube. We may have to cut it. But so as I was saying, Disney Plus is having a similar thing to DC Fandom where they're gonna preview Star Wars projects, MCU projects. That might be where we see the first trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm putting my money on the Batman to have more views than No Way Home.
Yeah, and just because Nez, you mentioned how people are getting kind of sick of Marvel. I don't know if you guys started watching, but I know you didn't mention it on the checkup. But What If came out on Wednesday. Did you guys watch that?
No, I haven't.
I checked it out.
Yeah, did you like it?
I thought it was solid. Like I don't really love the animation and the look of the show, but in terms of like the different twists it could have, and like I don't want to do. I guess we could do some spoilers. Like Captain Carter, like Sharon Carter becomes the new captain. Like you
knew that from the trailer,
Captain Britain and everything. Yeah, you knew that, but then also like the different twists they have with Howard Stark, like basically mentoring Steve Rogers and becoming Iron Man before Iron Man and everything like that. It's like that was pretty cool. And then like they had the twist and like Bucky is not the one who gets thrown off the train. Instead, you have Steve Rogers getting thrown off the train. So it's gonna be interesting. So I know like Sharon Carter is going to show up in multiple of these episodes. I think they're all interconnected, which I think is awesome, and it's classic Marvel to do that. But I thought it was really good. How about you?
So I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It did seem a little childish in its animated form. It just seemed like it's skewed towards a younger audience, at least to me. And it was literally Captain America First Avenger, except with Peggy Carter as Captain America, I thought, and Steve Rogers as Bucky. That's basically how I felt. But I do think that there's potential. Like, I know the first 3 episodes of this season of What If went out to the critics. And I guess the next one's T'Challa being in Yondu, and T'Challa being Peter Quill and Star-Lord. Thank you. So I think that one is going to be big because Chadwick Boseman's actually voicing T'Challa himself, whereas like Steve Rogers, Chris Evans wasn't there, and a bunch of other bigger names in the MCU like Robert Downey Jr. isn't going to be Iron Man in this. Or Tony Stark, I should say. So like the voice performances weren't necessarily great in this either.
No, I don't think so either.
And it was so obvious that like, because you're just so attached to these previous characters. So it's going to be interesting to see as the rest of the season goes, and in season 2 that they're already developing, how they're going to try to like keep drawing that interest and kind of keep grasping this audience, because the whole point of this is to do something different, but there's still like, it just seems off to me.
You got, like the key is like, you got to keep the big names attached. You got to keep them attached because like people associate Marvel with the films and everything. Obviously this is something different, but Haley Atwell, who plays Captain Carter, played Sharon Carter in Captain America and all through the MCU. It didn't even sound like her though. It just felt weird when I was watching her. And Steve Rogers was a bit off because it wasn't Chris Evans or anything like that. But I'm excited to see like what they have planned next. I think that's like the intrigue, like what beyond like the trailers, like beyond what twist are we bound to see with these episodes and how will they tie together? So I think that's the Marvel effect, you know.
And again, I think one last thing I'll say on this is that this is a show that is for people that already have Disney Plus and for people that already have seen Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and all the prior Marvel content. Whereas the other series, sure, it would have been helpful to watch all the other Phase 3 MCU flicks, but like you have to see those for this. Like you absolutely have to. So I think Disney Plus looked at it as in this is something different, animated form that we can get new viewers for, that people that don't necessarily love our movies or like don't watch every single one. But I feel like it's the exact opposite what they're doing here. And I think that was a big thing that they've mentioned about this project that I just completely disagree with.
Yeah, and then also targeting like a younger audience potentially too,
right.
Like the ones who aren't old enough to see the PG-13 movies. Their parents won't let them. This is how like an outlet they could just go right to, you know. So I think that's also a part of it. So and like you're talking about the animation style, it kind of does line up with kids.
Right. Yeah, it definitely felt like that Saturday cartoonish a little bit.
Which I mean, I expected a little bit better from like Disney and everything, but it kind of matches with what Disney like even before they acquired Marvel, like that type.
Right. We still got more episodes to go, so we'll see.
Cool. And then right before we end this checkup right here, I just want to say power duo Scarlett Johansson and Margot Robbie in Wes Anderson movie. Are you kidding me? That's kind of sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, boys, before we wrap up here?
That's a talented duo. That's a talented duo right there.
Wes Anderson just continues his talent agency.
Dude, he's Nick Saban.
Yeah. He's like a revolving door
recruiter.
And he's a huge ensemble cast and everything. Like he's just like a master at recruiting talent. That does it for the checkup this week. We will now move on to our review of Free Guy. All right, Flickstar. Free Guy, right? We have the synopsis here. We got the Rotten Tomato score. We got the IMDb. We have the recent release from Ryan Reynolds, right? This almost an unexpected summer blockbuster, but also very much expected after so many delays to this film. Currently, the film has an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, has an IMDb score of 7.7 out of 10. The synopsis reads, when a bank teller discovers he's actually a background player in an open world video game, he decides to become the hero of his own story, one that he can rewrite himself. In a world where there's no limits, he's determined to save the day his way before it's too late. And maybe find a little romance with the coder who conceived him. All right, Flickstar. Free Guy. Is this the best video game movie of all time?
I'll counter that with another question. Is this a video game movie?
Touche. I don't know.
I don't know if it is.
It takes place in a video game.
For like half the movie. But I think what I'm trying to say is when you think of a Mortal Kombat, a Rampage, what other, like Lara Croft, like, like movies that are video game movies, they're actually from a video game.
True.
Like, this is like its own game that they made up, so like I just don't think, because like obviously if you're going to put it in that perspective, I think this is the best one, but I just don't think it's in that same genre because it's its own creative thing, even though it does use a lot of IP in here, a lot, and a lot of cameos with the Disney Fox merger. That is because it's a 20th Century Fox movie, but obviously with the Disney acquisition of them, they used a lot of that IP, and clearly they relied on that in the second half of the movie. But I don't know if I consider this a video game movie.
I mean, I guess if you threw it into that batch of like the Mortal Kombat series, if you throw it into Detective Pikachu and as you said, Lara Croft,
Assassin's Creed.
It is the best out of those movies. Like if you just said what's the best movie, but maybe like adaptation wise, you're not really adapting anything. You're just throwing an IP, almost like Space Jam, a New Legacy type. Not to that extent.
Yeah,
not to that extent.
Let's not get crazy, but yeah.
So before we get into the concept of this movie and Ryan Reynolds' performance, I want to just talk about what were your expectations going in. I know this was like promoted to the max in the last month, and we've had multiple trailers, multiple TV spots. What did you anticipate walking into the theaters for this one, Flix?
So I actually loved the first trailer. Like I know there's a lot of advertisement around this movie. A lot of their budget went towards advertising once the pandemic hit, and they obviously, like every other movie last year, delayed it to this year. And it seemed like this summer they really pushed for it to be a blockbuster. And then once you saw reviews coming in during its opening week before the public was able to see it, you got that momentum. So my expectations were not high, but it was just like, all right, I think I'm going to like this movie. Ryan Reynolds just seems like he's going to be himself. And guess what? He was great. He's like 45 now, but he's looking great. He's still his charismatic self. You got that Deadpool vibe a little bit, but like a PG-13 vibe, Deadpool, and just him kind of being like just a bank teller, like a kind of a boring bank teller, but putting his spin on it. So honestly, it surpassed my expectations, but it's not like they were incredibly high. How about yourself?
So if you remember when we did the draft of the remainder of the movies of 2021, I had this just off my top 5 list. I had high expectations for this film, and this, I would say, met those expectations based on my score and how I feel about this movie. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with what you said about Ryan Reynolds. This felt like a PG Ryan Reynolds or a PG-13 Ryan Reynolds, right? It's like if Deadpool had a more mature side. That's almost what it felt like a little bit.
Right.
And Ryan Reynolds has he's banked his career, his arc has been amazing in his career. He now just plays himself in most of his movies. Like we remember when he starts off his career, he's going Van Wilder, he's going Just Friends, he's doing Definitely
Rom-coms.
Maybe. Then he does The Proposal in 2009. And then finally he gets his big break.
Season picks for later.
What's his big break? Green Lantern. Green Lantern comes. He's named Sexiest Man Alive. He's at the peak, right? What was you would suppose was his peak, right? Green Lantern hits, bombs hard, and he gets trashed to oblivion and disappears for a while. And he disappears, right? It's almost impossible to think about like Ryan Reynolds now, how he's literally everywhere. He's on Twitter, and he's literally the most self-aware actor in Hollywood. But he was disappearing after Green Lantern. Then he comes back. He tries to get like recognized again. He goes with like almost like more art house movies like Buried, and he goes Mississippi Grind, and then all of a sudden he gets his dream project that he's been working on for years with Deadpool, and after that it's history, right? He is now that person at all times, but in this movie he seems to change up that personality a little bit, as I said, make it more of a mature person, right? Maybe more that's welcomed by younger audiences, and he's just so likable. He's just so likable. So I think he did a great job in this performance. It was as expected, though. I also want to talk about like the concept of this movie, Ricky Flex. That's what also kind of drew me to it, because you have a video game movie where it's someone that's not a main character, but a non-player character, someone on the side, right? Someone you would never think about. So what did you think about this concept of the movie, and why did it work?
Oh, I love that. I love the concept for the movie. It's just a normal bank teller, a background character. Like it was around, that was one of the themes of the movie, like people trying to break free from their, like other people's assumptions of them, the world's assumptions of them. And they could do basically what they want, freedom, their creativity. It's kind of like the point of the movie with the video game as well. And no, I don't know if we're doing spoilers, but just in case we are not spoiler free here. So, but even when the world, not the non Ryan Reynolds characters outside of the video game, they're like a parallel to him. And like, as in they're not like important people, quote unquote, important people. And they're trying to be, they're trying to do like what they want to do. So I think that kind of just went along with the movie. And that part and that facet, that theme worked very well.
I agree. And the concept, as I said before, I did like it, right? It's like, and it's a unique way to tell the tale of, as you said, the theme of you write your own story. You write your own story. You are in control of your own destiny. No matter how you are perceived by other people, you can push yourself to your absolute limit. Mm-hmm. I think that the concept was awesome, but the execution, it wasn't as original as the concept. What I mean by that is, in terms of how the movie plays out, I think this was a cross between three different things, Ricky Flicks: Truman Show, Grand Theft Auto, and Ready Player One. What an interesting trio.
I had the same thing.
This was like a mishmash of those three, and I think it really stole a lot from Truman Show. I really did.
Well, think about it this way. Look at the freaking ocean. Like the ocean, like the climax of the movie was literally the Truman Show climax.
That was my main criticism of this movie. That it for such an original concept that people are really hailing it. In terms of the execution, we've seen this play out, like the same type of story play out, and even the fact that everyone is watching this person, someone starting to break free from this world that they're trapped in. It literally was Truman Show to a T. And even, as you said before, it even had that wall. You cannot get past that wall, right? You go through that ocean, you cannot get past that wall. You're limited to this world. So I thought that was just so obvious. It was just so obvious, right? And it sounds like you had that natural connection too.
Oh yeah, of course. And just look at just compare characters. Obviously, they're both trapped, or Truman quote unquote trapped. Go see that movie you haven't. But just also, like, he's a bank teller, and Truman Show, he's like an insurance broker, like a very boring job. He picks up the newspaper every morning.
It's so
and he's a very corny, robotic type dude. And he's like very nice, and he has good evening, good afternoon, and good night. And this one, he's like, don't have a good day, have a great day. They both have those type of lines, but they're also kind of self-aware. And like, as in Jim Carrey and Ryan Reynolds, you could tell they're self-aware of what they're doing. And they're like, they both are showing their charisma at the same time as being that boring character. So even on a character standpoint, not just the plots, but from the actual main characters, the same exact thing. And they both have the supporting characters trying to get them out or keep them in. So and then that are very similar, as in Jody Comer to the person with the lawsuit in the Truman Show, which I can't remember her name, but same exact characters as well. So not just story.
Yeah, where it's like almost like an eventual love story, a hidden love story till the end,
Right.
That's exactly what I was feeling. But I don't want to criticize it too much in that regard, because overall, this was super entertaining to watch. And I think that's because of the humor, for one. Ryan Reynolds always brings that to the table. And then Taika Waititi, I thought he was pretty good in this role. I was nervous that he was going to be too corny. Some might say he was corny. Your face tells me you think he was corny. But I think he played it on that edge where it's like, if he went really too much in, I would have been like, okay, I'm out on this villain. But I think he did fine for the villain he played.
All right, I'm exact opposite. And my dog's going crazy in the background, but I thought he was bad. I hated it. Right from the start, I thought he just overdid it. Way overdid it. And I really, in the second half of the movie, he got more and more screen time, and it just made me less and less like the second half of the movie, just compared to the first half of the movie, just significantly did not like the second half compared to the first half. And that was part of the reason. And again, this also goes to a bigger point where when Ryan Reynolds wasn't on the screen, it wasn't in the video game, I didn't necessarily think this movie was very good. I thought it was okay. And I thought the other actors in this, as in Jody Comer and Steve from Stranger Things. Thank you. I thought they did well. This is easily Joe Keery's best role he's ever done, like in a movie, for sure. He's done a lot of smaller films, but Jody Comer, when she was with Ryan Reynolds, I thought she was fantastic. When she wasn't, I thought she was good. But I just think Taika, compared to those three other actors, just way overdid it, way over the top. This wasn't like Jojo Rabbit when he played Hitler. Like, that was like a clear cliche, like, joke. Just like trying to, like, obviously because it's Hitler, right? Just make him look as bad as possible. So it worked for that one. For this, he just way overdid it.
But I think it
completely for
worked,
me.
bro. I think it worked because it was a zany movie. It was like a lot of stuff going on. Like I think there was some absolute ridiculous moments that Taika wasn't even a part of. But the fact that it was like had those out of control moments, like wow, because it is a video game for most part of the movie that you're watching.
Mhm.
I think it fit him well. I think he was the type of villain you needed for this movie. He didn't get an overwhelming amount of screen time either, which is I'm completely fine with. I'm absolutely fine with. But I thought he was formidable. I'm not gonna say like he's like the next great actor that the director turned actor, but I think he did fine. He did fine.
Yeah,
but I think
I just
also,
don't think you're going to get me. I'll have to see it again.
no, I'm not
But
trying to convince you. I'm just saying what I think. I really don't think it was as bad. I just knew it was going to be zany. Taika's playing a role. When has he not played a character that's
Right.
zany other than like Green Lantern? You know,
right.
When is he?
I just felt like, I don't know, like when I was watching it, I was thinking, well, Sean Levi, the director of this, or Levy, whatever, when he was probably like directing this movie and they were shooting his shots, he probably like didn't want to say anything to him, saying he basically probably just told him, go do your thing. Right. So I honestly think this falls on Taika, whether you think he was good or bad. So with this performance that you see, I'm not going to put this on the director or screenwriter or anything. I think Taika had control of his own role, and for obvious reasons why, an Oscar-winning writer himself and nominated director. So it's like, or nominated movie for Best Picture in one of his movies. So all in all, I didn't love him, but I do love him outside of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, you just like him in Jojo Rabbit as a director, then.
And Court.
In Court, yeah, okay. So like, yeah, but that's just a voice role. Like, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah. So I feel like we overall positive reaction to this movie. We have our sharp criticisms, but I think a huge part of this movie, I think we should jump to a little bit of a spoiler section here. I don't think we have a choice because one of my favorite parts of this movie were the cameos. They were so awesome. They were electric. So I'm just gonna give a warning, right, to the listeners right now. We're jumping to some spoilers, okay? And Naz will put like a little marker for when that will be on the pod. So he'll put it on the description and say, hey, spoilers right here. Ricky Flex, this had some of the best cameos I've seen that's a non-Marvel movie. It was insane.
The first scene of the movie, like that was not, I didn't know Channing Tatum was going to be in this.
Crazy.
And he wasn't just in it in that one scene. He had a pivotal role later on. And I thought one of the few gamers that were in this, like the regular people in the real world, that guy was great too. I thought that guy was really funny. Like, yeah. But
he had the Deadpool poster in the background.
Right.
Yep. Semi cameo.
And Channing Tatum, like, just still, like, he was amazing. And it just reminded me, like, he's also done another cameo, and This Is the End. That's very memorable that you didn't know that was coming. You've seen This Is the End. Like, I know you have, but like, audience, if you haven't seen a 2013 movie, you got to see
Danny becomes Danny McBride's pet.
So he's just like, wow. And it made me think, like, what has he done recently? Like, he's got to be in more stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, he did take a long break, but I was thinking about this earlier. He kind of challenges Matt Damon for like most electric cameos. Like if you think about him and This Is the End, you think about him in this movie, whether he's dancing or just having hilarious conversations as a 13-year-old or as a 20-year-old with Free Guy. And then he's also, we forget, Tarantino, Hateful Eight, has an all-time cameo in that as well.
Right. Oh my God.
So like he does, I think he challenges the crown for best cameos. Damon has like the volume, but the electric factory that is Channing Tatum, man, he is right there too.
Right.
And I can't wait to see what else like he's doing in the future, because you're right. He's been laying low, bro.
Right.
He's been
and
laying low.
I liked him in Hail Caesar. He has that great dancing scene in that one as well. So, and obviously he's, you know, he's been in a lot of dancing roles as well, obviously with Magic
Phenomenal
Mike
dancer.
And also Dance Street.
Step Up, dude.
Step Up. Thank you.
Up.
I can't think today.
We got rom-coms up today. You can't remember Step Up? Not a comedy though.
Yeah. But we got to talk about some other cameos. Chris Evans. That was a great one.
Amazing.
Like right after the cap, that was perfect. Cap shield. But I think some of the voices were great too. I don't know if you're able to notice any of them. I only knew one, and that was the Hugh Jackman one. But
I didn't hear Hugh Jackman. Which one was he?
That was in the alleyway.
Yeah, I mean, those are hard to tell.
With the map. That was the only one I was able to tell. But then just going on the IMDb here, The Rock was one of the bank robbers. John Krasinski was another voice. Like,
wow.
And then obviously Camille Kostick was also in the movie.
Trebek.
Oh, Alex Trebek, right? Oh my God.
Yeah, I felt the heart in my theater sank when Alex Trebek came on the screen. I felt it. And then Camille Kostick, I got a funny story for the listeners. So my dad overheard, I follow like Barstool content, and she like sometimes appears on shows for like Barstool, like KFC Radio, stuff like that. My dad overheard me talking about Camille Kostick with, I think you, Ricky Flicks. And then I remember he's an autograph collector. I open up a gift on Christmas. It's a signed Camille Kostick, like picture. I have a Camille Kostick SI like Sports Illustrated cover that's signed by Camille Kostick.
I did not know that.
I'm waiting for the bonk. I'm waiting for the bonk. I didn't ask for it. My dad surprised me. It was like $5 and he got it. He's like, here, I heard you talking about this girl. He got it. I think it was like a stocking stuffer or something like that.
Oh my God.
I can't believe you didn't know
that's
that.
Not good.
maybe
that's odd.
That. It is odd. I haven't put it up anywhere. It's just like in my room. It's like in my cupboard.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear that as a badge of honor, but I don't know. Maybe you should. I don't know. Like
maybe she hits it big after this cameo.
Yeah.
I also want to talk. Who do I want to talk about? Chris Evans. The theater reaction to Chris Evans popping on screen. The theater went nuts where I was at. They went crazy when they heard him swear, and all of a sudden you had like the Captain America shield and the Hulk hand coming together.
Yeah, the Hulk hand.
Everyone was going crazy.
The biggest,
when that happened.
The audience's biggest for me in my theater that I went to, the audience reacted most loudly to the lightsaber.
That was
like
more.
There was like someone in my row that had like got up that did one of these, like I got up from my chair, but like not all the way, and then sat back down. Like someone was that excited for the lightsaber. And then there was a lot of
or they did trying to hold in a pee or something.
Oh well, he like looked at the guy on the right and was like,
"Are you serious, bro? Are you serious, bro?"
There was so many yells for that. It was ridiculous. The Chris Evans was more like just wow, like he's in this movie. And then obviously, the whole can and everything going on. But that goes again to like the second half of this movie, more reliant on IP. Like I'm just saying it. Like it wasn't like Space Jam. New
cameos,
Legacy.
IP, like on a almost like the second half. I agree, kind of used as a crutch. I do agree with that.
But again, I'm not saying this movie. I know because we talked about the Truman Show and how it's had those similarities, and we just talked about the cameos and now the IP. But it did separate itself from other movies, particularly video games. Like, even though it did have aspects like from other video games, like Fortnite with the skins, they made it into like a running gag throughout the whole movie. Like, this is my skin. I guess it's genetics and stuff like that. And they used it as gags throughout. And I thought that was helpful. And it had the influencers like Ninja and others. I know apparently, according to my girlfriend, some of them were B or C or D list influencers or video game players. I'm not into that world. The only one I knew was Ninja, so I can't really talk about it. But I guess like they didn't even have a bunch of A-listers besides Ninja. So when I saw
Ninja, I kind of thought to myself, this movie's a little outdated.
Really?
like a year too late. Just because like I don't know if like Ninja's popularity has gone up in the past year, but like I don't hear a lot about him anymore. I know he switched like where he like streams and everything like that a while back, but like when I saw him on screen, I'm like, this damn guy, god damn it.
But
like I know, but like he did fine in the cameo, but young kids must have loved that.
Right. I think it had like its elements of like things that for non-gamers, things we love, like the IP and cameos, and things for gamers, like having those people in it. And they even had like the Fortnite, like when they reached back and to like put their weapons away, it disappeared. Things like that. That's basically what I'm trying to say. It had that good game, like inside the games in like Fortnite or like Grand Theft Auto, when just guys just randomly getting punched when he's walking the street or something like that. Or like the teabagging scene. Like there's just a bunch of aspects from those games that you saw in here. And I really did like that.
Yeah. And like, we're not video game guys. We've talked about the cameos we did recognize. I can't even imagine like an avid video game like fan, right? Maybe like Nez or someone else, like or like someone who's really invested into the video game world. They would ultimately they would be like, oh, pop on screen. They know this reference. They know that. It just would have been automatic. And we caught as much as we could, but I think there was more than we really knew.
Yeah. And I just remembered, I don't know if we said this at the beginning of the review, but Nez isn't doing this review with us. So,
yes. No. Yeah. Well,
okay.
I think it was
good.
obvious.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I didn't know if we mentioned that, so people maybe were wondering when he was going to chime in here.
I probably should have said that from the top. Why don't we get some scores? Let's get some scores.
Okay. 79 for me. 79%. I really did like it. It did exceed my expectations, but I'm just going to simmer down for the reasons I laid out above. And I do just want to say one other thing, because we didn't talk about her too much. I know I did, but Jody Comer, she's coming out in 2 Ridley Scott movies. So this is kind of like a coming out party a little bit here. And I thought she was great in this, particularly when she was with Ryan Reynolds. But The Last Duel mainly is going to be on screen with Matt Damon and Adam Driver, but she's going to be in that. And then what other movie she's going to be in? Joaquin Phoenix's Kit Bag, when Joaquin's going to be playing Napoleon, and that's another Ridley Scott movie, like I mentioned. So this was just
loves
great.
The period pieces,
right? So this is just her showcasing her skills a little bit, leading up to those 2 projects, and with Ridley Scott, and then those A-list actors that I just referenced. So just wanted to say that as well. 79 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 82. I'm going with the 82 for this one. I think I really wanted to bring up the use of the song "Fantasy" by Mariah Carey. Like, I think that was a nice motif that like was continuing throughout the movie. And I looked on Spotify, I looked on YouTube. I need to find that version of "Fantasy" sung by Jody Comer at the end of the movie. That was unbelievably fire. That was amazing. I want to find that song so bad, but it's not released yet.
So like the song in the trailer, like it hit, right? It made the trailer so, one of the reasons why the trailer was so good. But in the movie, it just made the movie flow so well and got your vibes up. You could feel your heart pumping a little bit. It was related to the themes, like you mentioned, the motifs. I really loved the song in this. Really, really liked it.
Yeah, solid soundtrack. A lot of 90s like hip hop and R&B on there. It was good.
Yeah, very cool. Oh, and one last thing we can mention here. Their game in that island, Free City, was just so much better.
Yeah,
like awesome. Come on, like no wonder that wasn't going to make any money. And as a businessman,
that was the point.
Right. But that game looked trash. It looked terrible.
Yeah, that's why they didn't sell it.
Yeah,
right? That's why it's so ironic that we're like Taika Waititi's character was like saying, "Oh, sequels is all we care about. More numbers, more the same." And the fact that like this message of this movie is like follow like your original, your own creative mind, your own projects. But we're getting a sequel to this movie.
Right. The hypocrisy.
Like so ironic.
It's so Disney. So Disney.
Yeah. So that does it for our review of Free Guy. 79 from Ricky Flicks, 82 from Dr. O. We will now move on to our top billing draft of the greatest rom-coms. All right. It's time for top billing. In honor of Ryan Reynolds' new film, we will be drafting the greatest rom-coms with a new special guest, the one and only PKO Dynamite. Peyton, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, boys. Happy to be here.
Okay. And what makes you such a great option to draft romantic comedies, Peyton?
Why you?
I've been watching romantic comedies since I can remember. Our dad is a huge rom-com guy. And that's like the one genre I know just about every rom-com movie.
Wow.
I know what's good. I know what has too much humor, not enough romance, and vice versa. I'm really a great judge, so I'm happy to be on the pod.
Yeah, amount of romance is vital.
Okay.
Comedy.
So you're gonna be a good,
because then it's just a long romance, boring movie. You need the comedy.
You're gonna be a good judge of each person's pick then. Since you know.
That's good. Yeah, I think that's a great. You'll be the judge of our picks, but you're also trying to win the draft yourself. And I think Peyton's draft is going to look vastly different from the rest of our 3 drafts, unless Ricky Flex has seen like more rom-coms or has seen more rom-coms than I'm expecting. But I could be wrong.
I've watched a lot of back when it was, I think Bravo used to be Women's Entertainment. I used to watch a lot of that with my mom when we were doing chores on Saturdays. So don't sleep on Nez here.
And if anyone is a returning listener here, they know Nez's mother is a huge Bravo fan. Huge.
That's true.
All right. We've predetermined the draft order today. Ricky Flex will be going first, followed by Nez, then by PKO, and then me, Dr. O. So, Ricky Flex, you are now on the clock with the number 1 overall pick.
Okay, so with the number one overall pick. So I want to do a tradition. Like, I know we're doing rom-coms, but this one's just probably the most popular in my household, as in it's probably the one that's been played the most. And this one has some amazing actors and actresses in it. So a lot of star power, and I'm going 10 Things I Hate About You. Uh-oh.
Number one pick?
So
Number one. I honestly just wanted a back-to-back.
Excellent choice. Excellent choice.
Oh, PKO approves. Why do you approve PKO?
Okay, so rom-coms, like we mentioned, like romance is huge, but that movie has so many great one-liners. Like, just so good. And the scenes, it's not a typical teen movie. It's really like another caliber. So excellent choice.
A tier above. A tier above.
It's a tier above. Even people I know that hate rom-coms love that movie.
Heath Ledger.
Heath.
R.I.P.
That's how
to
I
a
got
legend.
to start.
Oh, love it. Can't take my eyes off you scene, Frankie Valli. One of the most iconic music scenes in movie history.
Rom-coms, you need a heartthrob. And you have Heath Ledger here as the heartthrob. You need one. And this is his breakthrough performance. And it's always fun. When you look at like that guy played the Joker in like the most like terrifying villainous role in literally cinematic history, right up there. So seeing him like it's fun to go back and watch this movie and see like, oh man, this dude has some freaking range. This dude has a freaking range, but he's also just like so likable too. And he nailed that role. And then we can't forget Joseph Gordon-Levitt, his starting point there too.
Yep. And again, with rom-coms, what's popular? A villain on the romantic side. And Joey might be
Joey.
Might be the most iconic villain in rom-com history here. So I get him. I love it.
Joey Donna. So that's Ricky Flicks with the number one overall pick. 10 Things I Hate About You. We are now on to Nez.
All right. So I'm really weighing my options here. I don't know if I should go with my personal favorite rom-com or if I should try and get my draft stock up. But I think I'm just gonna have to go my personal favorite. When we were when I was drafting up my big board, this is the first one that I wrote down because it's my favorite. I'm going with Love Actually, which is a personal Nez favorite. I think it's because I saw it at such a young age, and I don't know why it had a impact on me. Maybe I watched it around Christmas time too, but I like it. Rick Grimes from Walking Dead, Snake, but yeah, Keira Knightley, terrible person, but
his storyline of that movie is so weird. Rick Grimes and that Andrew Lincoln, whatever, very weird storyline there.
So Peyton, I'm curious, where does this rank in terms of not only romantic comedies but even Christmas movies? Is this top tier?
Honestly, I think it's more of a top tier Christmas movie than it is a rom-com.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I do know a lot of people that love it. It's not personally a favorite of mine. I mean, I love Hugh Grant's scene, when he's dancing through the, that seems pretty great.
Pointer Sisters.
I mean, he's a king of rom-coms. Talk about someone that's like always strikes at, like always home run. That strikes out.
Hugh Grant is
big heartthrob.
He is a male icon for rom-com.
And that's right when he was like still in his prime. So I'll give you points for that. But sometimes I feel like there's a little bit lacking in the comedy area there.
I love this.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. So it's a little too heavy romantic, not enough comedy. A little too heavy romantic.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a great film. If it's on TV, I'm going to watch it.
One of the things I'll say, it has so many storylines, but they're all so different. It hits at different points. Oh, right.
Right.
The Colin Firth storyline
together.
Right. It all comes together, of course. And it's set around Christmas.
Wow. And I think PKO brought up a great comment. It's about balancing the romantic and the comedy. So I'm going to go on with my third pick here, and I'm going to do a perfect balance of the two, at least in my opinion. My favorite rom-com of all time, Ricky Flicks already probably knows I'm going to pick Crazy Rich Asians is my first round pick. Crazy Rich Asians. That is wow. That is a rom-com that I think is like, first of all, the cast is amazing, all Asian cast, and we have the breakthrough with Henry Golding, Gemma Chan breakthrough too. Like having her, like literally, Marvel said We saw Gemma Chan. We had her in Captain Marvel. We saw her performance of Crazy Rich Asians. Man, we need her as a lead in one of our movies, and we're gonna get her as a lead in Eternals. Hilarious movie too. Like I frequently rewatch this movie, not only because it's on TBS every other weekend, but I watch on HBO Max as well. Yeah, so Crazy Rich Asians, my first round pick. Any thoughts?
Excellent pick. I
You
like
approve?
it.
Great
What do you
movie.
think about PKO? Where does Henry Golding rank in terms of like the heartthrob meter?
Oh yeah, well, like his smile, he's a charmer for sure. Like that really seals you in. So,
Yeah.
and I think because the way he acts so smooth and put together, and he dresses like a little nicer than the average guy his age, really makes it very nice. I really like it.
So
Yeah.
my one gripe with this pick is
Oh,
I don't
boy.
think it's very funny.
I do. I think
I
it's
don't like-
You
hilarious.
have
Awkwafina is not. I'm not a
Awkwafina.
fan of her. I'm not a fan personally of her comedy. I'm just not.
okay,
It
I will
doesn't
agree
hit
with
me.
that. She's a little annoying.
So I'm not
This is
saying
the
it's
a
not.
little annoying.
I'm not saying it's like a bad pick, as in like because like it more leans romantic or on the comedy saying. I'm just saying the comedy in that movie I just don't particularly like, but I think it's a great movie just in general.
I think her comedy works for that movie. I think it lines up perfectly. Her and other stuff, it kind of turns me off. I like her in
Okay, I
Crazy Rich
see.
Asians. But then the Uncle Jimmy, I think his name is Jimmy Woo. He is he's like the really up straight guy. He's like this is Vogue Japan or something like that. We couldn't even get Vogue US or whatever.
Right.
That guy is my favorite character in the entire movie. Insanely
That's
funny
good.
comic relief. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Crazy Rich Asians as my first rounder. PKO, highly anticipated pick to end the first round. Go ahead.
Oh boy, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me. What if I can't perform? But I think I have to go classic as all-star cast again. It's a classic, but like you can still watch it and it just like never fades. And that is You've Got Mail. Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, classic duo.
Wow.
That pick didn't disappoint, Peyton. That's an absolute first rounder. I don't see that movie as frequently as you, but the rewatchability of that movie, if You've Got Mail, you talk about it literally every other day. So I think it's right on par with you, and it's also it's just like one of those movies you think of when you hear rom-com.
Yeah, it has everything in it, and it has that part where you're like, oh, I really want them to be together. Where sometimes some movies it's like too obvious, but for them you're like, you really don't know. So it really pulls you in and makes you want to watch the end, but it still has so many funny moments in it.
So PKO, big Tom Hanks fan, looks wise?
Yeah. No. He's
Not
just a
looks
lovable
wise.
guy. Well, he's just a lovable guy that makes him like
I
everyone
see.
loves Tom
Okay.
Hanks.
Okay.
And that's really, I think, what does it for him. It's like personality, the humor in that movie. It's just
I see.
Like amazing. I really like it.
Mm-hmm. So Henry Golding above Tom Hanks.
And that this
And the looks and like the suave wise, but if you're going for funny, you're gonna go for Tom Hanks. Are you kidding me? And like he's just like a lovable teddy bear.
Love this pick, Peyton, and this introduced one of the greatest rom-com duos of all time.
Well,
Tom
actually,
Hanks.
they first premiered with Sleepless in Seattle.
Hey, and we don't tease picks here. We don't tease picks here. Jeez, you rookie. Come on, PKO.
Unless it's your next pick.
Unless, well,
It's not.
It's not.
We might have to kick her off. All right. So
I'll see you later.
Got mail. You are now up with your second. Kick us into the second round, PKO.
Okay, I gotta go with another classic around the same time frame. It actually came out the year I was born, and that is Notting Hill. You got another all-star cast. Well, two great leads. You got Hugh Grant, like I mentioned before, king of rom-coms, and you got Julia Roberts. I mean, what's a better deal than that?
I've actually never seen Notting Hill. I've never seen it.
Are you serious?
Wow.
I know it's always on
in this household.
I know that's crazy. You and Dr. O and Ricky Play, our father. You two have seen
Dr.
that movie
Bo
countless
Senior.
times. Dr. O Senior. Dr. O Senior has seen that movie with you no less than 50 times.
I feel like every week.
100%.
I feel like every week in the house growing up, the final 30 minutes of that movie was always on at least once a week. Like it always was.
It just has so many great scenes, especially the last, like where she's like, I'm
Right,
just a
the
girl
last scene.
standing in front of a boy
Right.
asking
I've seen that scene.
him
I
to
feel
love
like
her.
I feel like growing up,
You
I
can't top that.
feel like I've heard that quote a million times from like 2 rooms down throughout like every week growing up. It's
know what you can't
ingrained
top?
in my mind.
You know
Pretty
what you can't
accurate.
top is Hugh Grant's hair in that movie. Phenomenal. I've never seen someone with
Or
better hair.
Flopsy.
Talk about a heartthrob. All right, good pick. Now we're moving on with the second round. Is now Dr. O's pick, and I'm gonna go with Crazy Stupid Love. Steve Carell, Gosling, Emma Stone, Julianne Moore. Man, it's talk about the comedic elements. You got the chemistry between Carell and Gosling. Gosling was like, he's just the standout. He stole every scene in this movie. Carell is awesome, but Gosling was such a boss here. And then Emma Stone was also hilarious in this movie, and she has great chemistry with Gosling. Talk about romantic scenes. Talk about the Dirty Dancing, right, with Gosling and Emma Stone. I see Peyton's reaction. She loves that scene too. I think I'm starting off strong with Crazy Stupid Love as my second round pick.
I was targeting that. That was gonna be my first pick in the second round. So I love the pick. Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
King.
Him slapping.
There's a
Steve
theme
Carell
with
in
crazy
face.
being in
Prime.
all of Dr. O's draft picks so far.
I see a
Crazy Rich
trend.
Asians,
See if
Crazy
it
Stupid Love.
continues.
I noticed that too, Nez. That's a great observation. It might be my interest in rom-coms. It's just a crazy interest. It's like more eccentric picks, I would say. So you're up
Crazy
now.
element in there.
Also,
All right.
also you could also say Ryan Gosling, like in that movie, like one of him in that movie was just impeccable looking. Like if we're being honest, like man rocket to the max.
Prime.
Yes, like that. Like I don't know how many other actors in a movie looked as good as Ryan Gosling in Crazy Stupid Love. Like I'm just being honest here.
His suits alone.
It's insane. I remember like there's a TikTok that the drive-in podcast we made, and it was a Ryan Gosling like streaming TikTok, and the Crazy Stupid Love like just making that. It was just like, dang, like I don't know which one to pick.
And another great aspect of that movie is just like even the way he dresses adds that extra like notch to it.
Suavette.
And that's also what I love. Yeah, there it is. And just like he dresses phenomenally, and
it's like he dressed like a ladies' man.
He is a ladies in that movie. He's like prime ladies' man.
Yes.
But Steve Carell has his complete transformation, and just from like the haircut change, the minimal haircut change, and all of a sudden the suits can make you kind of like Ryan Gosling. He definitely is not the same tier, but towards the end, he had all that suave going on.
Astute observation.
He had the Dirty Dancing scene as well. With Emma
Did you
Stone.
not? Yeah. We brought that up. We brought that up.
Missed it.
Let's now move on to Nez's pick, second rounder. Here we go, Nez.
All right. I don't know if this is gonna pass the PKO test, but this is one that I also thought of very quickly when I thought of it, and that is 50 First Dates. Adam Sandler. I just think it's a very sweet movie, and it's also very funny. It has Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider, the whole gang's in there. There's a lot of good jokes, but also there's a fair amount of romance, and I think the balance is there. I think the comedy is there and the romance is all there. All in all, it's a very sweet movie, and I'll catch it on TBS from time to time.
Sandman, and then it's I like that we're getting some love here because he is an underrated like performer in these rom-coms. He does a decent amount of them, and we might even see him later in this draft. Love that pick, Ness.
Yeah, I gotta say, I agree with Dr. O. I can't that just has every element you need in a rom-com. That's a great pick. One of my top favorites.
And
You
Drew
can watch
Barrymore
it again and again.
And Drew Barrymore. She's in a bunch of rom-coms herself.
That's true, yeah. It's got the recipe.
Dynamic duo, Sandman and Barrymore. Okay. Now we're going on to Ricky Flicks to end the second round.
All right. So last pick of the second round, I'm going to go with Hitch. Hitch, two storylines there. The one obviously with Will Smith, but the one with Albert. Kevin James just steals the show. Q-tip, throw it away. Iconic scene. Love the movie. Hitch.
I like Will Smith also awesome in that movie. Like I know Albert Brenneman steals the show. He's the more like eccentric character, and like likable, I guess. But Will Smith is suave in that too. And I love and like how can you not love Eva Mendes?
Like there's no Crazy Stupid Love without Hitch. Ryan Gosling's like the Will Smith of that movie, so you could say that. Just saying.
Yeah. So Hitch walks so Crazy Stupid Love could run.
Yes, I agree with that. But
yeah,
I do have Hitch higher on my big board, but just saying, love it. Actually, no. Yeah, I do. But okay. Then my third pick.
Yep.
There's Something About Mary. Ben Stiller, Cameron Diaz in this. This movie, obviously, there's a lot of different moving parts in this movie, but I think from the comedy kind of outweighs the romantic parts at points. But I think in the third round here, it's the proper value for it. So I'm going to go with that.
I would say that's a solid statement. There's definitely some scenes.
Thank you, Peyton.
There's definitely some scenes that like are a little like freaky, a little like go like a little too far in that movie. But like with the dog.
For the feet.
Couldn't agree more, PKO.
But I agree with that statement. It is definitely a solid third round pick. Like it still cracks me up every time I watch it. Is it really up there with You've Got Mail, 10 Things I Hate About You? I don't know, but it's a good third rounder.
So this definitely leans more into the comedic than the romantic, in my opinion. Like this gets a little wacky, like Farrelly Brothers movie. So we're talking about balancing those two. This one just tips a little bit more to the comedic side, but I would still put it under that umbrella of a romantic comedy for sure. All right. So now we are Nez's third pick.
All right, guys, I'm going with another one that's probably leaning on the comedy side a little bit more than the romance side, but it is all about romance in terms of the plot of the movie. But there is a lot of hijinks and stuff going on. I'm going with Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's honestly one of my favorite comedies of all time, but I think you could easily classify it as a romantic comedy.
Great pick, Nez. Great pick.
Thank you.
Phenomenal. Like this, like I was torn between two for my next one, and this was one of them. So you actually made my decision a little easier. And out of the two I was going to pick, I probably picked Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Judd Apatow, low key, is one of the best at romantic comedies. It's not even low key. He just is, right? It's just his thing. So I love that.
I agree more.
All right.
Great characters.
Dude, phenomenal. You just want to quickly list like Kuno, right? We got to list Kuno. Right? Aldous Snow, Jonah Hill, like very hilarious characters.
They had a spin-off movie after this.
Right.
That's true.
Where they just ignored who Jonah Hill played in the first movie. Just like completely ignored him.
I love that.
Yeah. They were like, forget about that. You cannot play that for a whole movie. You psycho. All right. On to my third pick. As I said before, I'm reassessing right now. Yes, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go Knocked Up. I gotta go Knocked Up. Now it kind of finds it's the Judd Apatow family. Great chemistry between Rogen and Katherine Heigl. It's such an unexpected duo, and this is like the same year as Superbad. So you get Rogen and Superbad. He wrote Superbad, right? And then you have, I believe it's 07, 08, 07. So then you have obviously this. I think this is one of the most This is like mostly seen on the E Network. I would say. I say it's up there with the most seen on E Network.
Accurate statement.
And she works in the movie. She works on the E Network now.
Yes, she does. And if I know anything about the E Network, they love when if they show any type of movie, it's going to be a romantic comedy. So I'm going to go with Knocked Up as my third rounder.
Accurate statement.
Thoughts?
Another great Apatow movie. Great pick.
PKO. How interested are you in Knocked Up? How many times have you seen it?
Honestly, I've only seen it once. I've seen it twice. I've seen it like recently. I've seen it once though. Like I saw a long time ago. I do think it's funny. It's still just like definitely more comedy. Definitely giving me like Superbad vibes. Like definitely much more comedy than romance. But I mean, it's still a great movie. Still really cute. Still really funny.
Right. I couldn't agree more. And Leslie Mann and her relationship with Paul Rudd is one of the great subplots of that movie.
That's true. Paul Rudd's great in that
excellent.
movie. That's the dinner scene of them too.
Oh boy.
the scene where Paul Rudd, like she thinks he's cheating on her. He's at his like fantasy baseball draft.
Right. That was great.
Not even fantasy football, fantasy baseball. It's wearing like Orioles uniform.
We have like another 40 rounds of this.
Phenomenal. All right. So that's my third pick. PKO. It is now up to you to finish the third round.
Okay. I think I gotta follow the trend here in the third round and lead a little bit more towards the comedy. Definitely still romance, but this movie just has so many great scenes in it. And that is Friends with Benefits. You got Justin Timberlake, Mila Kunis, just all-star duo. Just make it so great to watch again and again. I don't know how many times I've seen that movie. And you know what? Woody Harrelson's low-key, like, great standout star in that movie. He has some funny ass lines.
Wow, we don't swear on this podcast, PKO.
Woody Harrelson in a rom-com.
Hilarious.
Didn't they make this movie twice that year? What was the other movie that came out that was just like this one?
No strings attached.
No strings attached.
Which
no
I actually.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just.
Books.
Interesting because Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher both star in that, and then like in each of those movies. Kind of. Then they end up together in real life. Kind of cute. I like it.
Interesting.
They don't bathe though.
It's like a cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Rom-com cinematic universe. And like Natalie Portman was in No Strings Attached. What the hell?
Yeah.
Why? That's just kind of crazy. It's just I wouldn't never.
I think that might have been after. I think that was after Black Swan 2, which is even more crazy to me.
Wow. That is nuts. Great observation, PKO. That's great.
Wow.
She's on fire right now. So, right. So Peyton, PKO. I gotta pick which one I'm gonna choose. Like I keep calling you both names. You're gonna kick off the fourth round.
Okay. I need 1 second to reevaluate. A lot of my picks have been taken.
I'm nervous for this next pick.
I'm still waiting on PKO to pick one in particular, two really, that I thought she would pick around this time for sure. Maybe earlier. So I'm waiting here.
You know what? I got to go with another classic. And that is Jerry Maguire.
Wow.
Jerry Maguire.
And honestly, I wouldn't think. Oh, yeah. The music, the soundtrack alone of that movie qualifies. That is so like
very romantic for you and funny.
Very romantic in my opinion. But I think you got what's the little kid with the how do you know how big the human
Jonathan
head is?
Lipnicki.
Yeah.
Yes, he cracks me up in that movie. And then honestly, for the most part, you would think it's not too romantic, but then the end when he's like, "You complete me," it doesn't get better than that.
Iconic.
That's what you need in a romantic comedy. You need the big grand scene. That's why I loved Friends with Bennett's last round. You have them in Grand Central.
The flash mob.
And that's
doesn't top that.
The "you complete me" moment. And that and Show Me the Money, the two most iconic scenes. Two of the most iconic scenes in cinematic history.
And they're both in the same movie. It doesn't get better than that.
Yes, they are in the same movie.
That's a fact.
True. So you're a big Tom Cruise gal, looks wise as well.
Looks wise, yes.
Holding up for you?
Decent amount.
Decent amount.
I always compare him to Rob Lowe. He's no Rob Lowe, who's also big in rom-coms from that time period. But they're both pretty comparable. So yeah, I'd say he's been holding up.
Okay.
Great pick, PKO. So now we're continuing the fourth round. Is now Dr. O's pick. And I'm going to go with a Ryan Reynolds movie. I'm going The Proposal. I'm kind of shocked that it lasted until the fourth round. Also a favorite on the E Network. Sandra Bullock in a rom-com with Ryan Reynolds, a duo we didn't know we needed. And to see Sandra Bullock, like Ryan Reynolds, warm her heart throughout the movie and their relationship change, right? After having a fake relationship. And we can't forget about the best part of the movie, the one and only Betty White. Phenomenal. So Proposal, fourth rounder.
I agree that it's also surprising it lasted to the fourth round. I actually was expecting Ricky to pick this one.
Yeah.
But I think so many funny moments in that. It actually has a lot of stars, and it was like Greg T. Nelson for Dad too.
And
How about Oscar?
Another.
Oscar from The Office doing the stripper scene.
And yeah,
but
I'm picturing him dancing at the bachelorette party.
right.
We gotta say this on the podcast. We gotta say this. That's just commented in the Zoom chat. I almost said R.I.P. Betty White.
I had to check. I had to do a Google search.
Yeah. good thing you held up after that. After your Shia Labeouf outburst earlier, it's good that you held back a bit for this one.
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
But I guess a little transition, but same movie, obviously. I actually saw this movie in theaters. Went on a little double date for this movie. I think I sat second row. Never do that in a movie theater.
10?
I was 11, 12. But yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was in complete shock of how much I enjoy it, and it holds up to this day. And the other thing I'll say in this movie, it's crazy how this man owns a town in Alaska, but also it's so believable because it's in Alaska.
True.
It's true.
And the Get Low had a resurgence after this movie for sure. Get Low had a resurgence.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't sure if that was going to be after I accidentally just swore if I could have brought that up, but that's an excellent scene.
Great call.
I was trying to hold myself back.
PKO got very excited when I brought up that scene. So that's my fourth rounder. Nez, your fourth.
All right. My fourth rounder, I'm gonna have to go with Silver Linings Playbook. Silver Linings Playbook. It's a bit of a drama too, but definitely has its comedic aspects and a very cool, I think, romantic part of it. So yeah, that's my pick. Great actors. We got Bradley Cooper. Why am I blanking on the name?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah,
Jennifer Lawrence.
De Niro.
Yep, exactly.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
Chris
keep
Tucker.
going because I don't really know actor names.
But it's
Definitely a serious movie.
So we talked about balancing the drama, like the comedic aspect with the romantic. This is one that goes into another realm, which is the more dramatic side. I guess you could say romantic side, but there's also just straight up drama with these independent characters in the movie with Cooper and Lawrence. But me and Ricky Flicks actually did a late night drive-in on this. That's in the archives that we might have to surface at some point. So it was like a Saturday night. We're like, we got to do a movie review. We picked Silver Linings Playbook. Man, that movie's pretty rewatchable, and I think it's one of the best from that year. I believe it got nominated for a Best Picture Oscar.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, a bunch of Oscar noms for that movie.
And I think what's key that I might have mentioned before is you got to have the chemistry, and we know Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, they got it.
They got it. The dancing helps, even though they're not the greatest dancers.
Yeah, they really come through for this movie.
Oh, the dance scene is amazing in that movie.
And the fact that they're not great dancers is like perfect. Like if it was like if it was pure Hollywood and you want to just like make the audience happy, they get a 9.8 on the scale, they win the trophy. But in reality, they get a 6.4 and they're just like complete their character arcs. So it's like it is a really awesome movie from David O. Russell.
Yeah,
right. And he has
the movie wouldn't be as good if he went full Travolta
right now.
And he's running in the trash bag. It's so good. And yeah, like the gambling and that from De Niro just makes the comedic aspect through the roof to match the drama here. So love the pick.
Oh yeah,
I can't ignore what Nez said. You kind of snuck under PKO's comment there. He said John Travolta would have made this movie terrible. He's too good of a dancer.
It's true.
Oh
Good
yeah,
point.
he would take the comedy right out of it, which is key in rom-coms. Hence the name
That's
of
true.
the
He's
category.
terrible at comedy. He's not good at it. He's really bad. It was Sight Wild Hogs. So end of the fourth round. Ricky Flex, your pick.
All right. I'm going to go with my Apatow movie, 4-Year-Old Virgin. Arguably the best out of the bunch that we've taken here, but that's going to be mine. Definitely a unique spin on rom-coms and the one that started the Apatow, like his whole career, kind of like as in his own creative mindset, kind of. So I'm going to go with that one first before I wrap it up here.
Interesting. This is heavy comedy. Yeah, I don't know.
You're
I
telling
feel-
me that's heavy comedy, but you picked Knocked Up?
Yeah, I mean, they have a
The whole thing is she has a relationship.
What was that?
Yeah, but I feel
That was
like
way too early on.
I feel 40-year-old virgin. It's like Knocked Up. It's a lot of male, female on the screen. 40-year-old virgin. It's a lot of Steve Carell trying to get laid by his boys. Like they're like trying to help him out. You know what I mean?
No, but there's
That's
an
an accurate
underlying.
No, I'm not
There's
saying.
an-
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying it's more of a comedy, like compared to romantic, like rom-com.
Mhm.
Okay,
Talking about balance here.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's not. You can't pick it. I'm just saying it's just a lot of comedy.
Okay. I agree with that.
Which makes it good for one of the later rounds. It's not so 50-50. It's more like 65-35.
Yeah, I didn't mean to
Mhm.
come in so harsh there.
It sounded like a veto was coming in, and I was
No.
No,
gonna
not at all.
Okay, but
Although, what? How do we consider a veto? Like, it's just like I feel like if it's a good, the thing with vetoes, I feel like if it's a good pick, like if it's a rom com, like it's like people will think, oh, yep, that's a rom com, and if it's not
Right.
a rom com, you just don't get the votes. You know what I mean?
It's
So I feel
usually
like
if you're picking the same thing as somebody else, like buffalo sauce.
Yeah.
God.
Oh my God, let's not go there.
Okay,
Let's
just
not
gotta
go
put my
there.
2 cents in that.
Oh.
Hot sauce, buffalo sauce, completely different.
Oh,
Oh
Well,
my
you're-
God.
You're about 7
But-
weeks too late.
But sriracha, I heard this like all week going on. But sriracha, I think, would be as similar to hot sauce as buffalo is. That's my 2 cents.
No, I think it's the same.
Oh my God, this is
Okay.
interesting.
I don't know
not-
what Dr.
I'm-
O paid you to say that.
I'm not.
but
I'm not going back in.
Nothing.
I'll pay you double.
All right, Ricky Books, kick off the 5th round.
Okay, I have big boards deep. I didn't think it was going to be this deep for rom-coms. I don't consider myself a connoisseur like PKO does.
There's a lot to choose from.
Yeah,
I
there are a
realized.
lot.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna go with The Wedding Singer. Great
Sandler.
soundtrack too. And
Oh
I need
yeah, that's what makes the movie.
Oh yeah, and Adam Sandler on my board as well now. So I feel like I got some great leads in each of my movies. And I know 51st Dates was picked already, and some might say they like that better. I love this soundtrack too. I love 51st Dates soundtrack, but I do like the Wedding Singer soundtrack better. So I'm gonna lean that movie over 51st Dates, but that'll be my last pick here.
Whenever I think of that movie, I don't know why. I always just think of that one scene where he's just like, "Somebody kill me, please."
Somebody please.
Mind.
John
I think
Lovett.
I'll say that
reaping all the
tomorrow.
benefits.
On the way to work on a Monday, I'll just be hearing that in my head.
It's a way to get traffic. Someone has their window down. You and me both, pal.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. I
Great
like
ca-
it. Good.
great-
Sandler low-key makes good romantic comedies. He actually does.
Yeah.
There's some great cameos in that too, like Billy Idol.
Yeah.
Like
The Billy
Oh my
Idol
God.
cameo is great.
and there's a bunch of other ones, but yeah. And don't wear my Van Halen shirt.
Should have gotten. We should have voted for that Billy Idol scene for best music moments in movies draft.
Oh, that would have been good.
Oh, it's
We could have
excellent.
another one of those. Honestly, there's so many to draft. We could just keep
Right.
we could keep having that draft as much
yeah.
as we want.
We should do sequel drafts. That's not bad. All right. Moving on with the 5th round. Nez.
All right, I'm gonna go with the classic here. I'm not sure if I wasn't paying attention. I think we might have only teased this. Did anybody draft Sleepless in Seattle?
No.
All right, I'm drafting Sleepless in Seattle. I think that's a classic movie. That's a great rom-com, one that I saw over and over on cable television while doing chores with my mother growing up. It's an absolute classic. It's a very interesting and unique story, and a nice spin on romantic comedies. So that's my pick here.
Strong value in the 5th round. You're getting a Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan romantic comedy in the 5th round. That's actually nuts. It slipped to that. I actually put this a little bit on PKO, although she already has one of those movies. I can't believe she let it get to this stage.
I will. Yeah. I mean, you got to go with what would be right with the balance, but then it's also like personal decisions. So I feel like that has to have like a little bit of say. But one thing I will say about this movie, it's really what I think most people think of that one, and then another one that I'll wait to the end to say. But
Good. She's learning, folks. She's learning.
but this one's like really. I feel like when you think of rom-coms, you think of Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks at the top of the Empire State Building at the end of this.
Yeah.
It's just like a all-time classic rom-com scenes. Like comes right to my mind. Excellent choice.
All right. So
Got the stamp of approval.
that rounds out Nez's draft. It's now to Dr. O. And I am torn, people. I am torn. Got a couple. I got one that will please PKO. I got one that's one of my favorites. Not necessarily the best movie, but it's one of my favorites. And then I got one classic. This is tough.
It's heavy decision making.
This is tough. I'm assessing my board really quick before I decide. I have a strong draft. Like this will be a complete draft if I get this last one. Slapshot Regatta.
Wow, he did it.
Slapshot Regatta. She's out of my league. I had to go that was my favorite. I went with my heart. Not the best movie, but Jay Baruchel, Alice Eve, anyone who likes Entourage, you must love this movie with Alice Eve. Only one that could actually reel in Vinny Chase. And then TJ Miller is awesome in this movie.
Another person a little canceled right now.
Yeah, a little canceled. And then Jay Baruchel's brother is great in it too. I don't know his name, very recognizable face, but that's how I'm going to round up my draft.
I was debating between this one for my fifth pick as well. I had a couple other ones I was thinking about, but this was definitely like one of the first names I put down on my big board, as in just like off the top of my head what I thought of. Great movie.
And this one shows like hockey love. So like if it shows hockey love, obviously Jay Baruchel is a huge hockey fan for those who don't know. So I'm happy I got that one. So to round out our draft overall, PKO.
Here we
Mr.
go.
Relevant.
I'm also debating here. Let's see. Okay. I think I got to seal a deal with Mamma Mia.
A musical.
First or second?
Oh, good distinction.
First.
And Ricky Flicks. Do I smell a veto?
So
I was wondering if that was going to come in.
Okay.
I would say this is a musical.
So
but there are
on PKO, I know it's your first time on. I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you're picking this, I would have picked a different musical, arguably won one overall.
Oh,
but I thought it was a musical, so it wasn't going to count.
Oh my gosh. We can't. I don't know.
It's like the last pick. You could say it.
Yeah. So Grease.
I have backups. People.
So Grease. If I was going to pick Grease, if musicals were included in this, arguably won.
I feel like we're doing disrespect to Grease if we have Mamma Mia on here and we don't veto this pick.
Right.
To be honest.
You know what?
I'll throw out the gauntlet.
I'm throwing a veto. Okay.
2 vetoes.
I'm so sorry to our guest PKO, but a musical.
Wow, the first ever guest veto. First ever guest to get vetoed. Your younger sister. I'm not surprised.
I did.
I can't say I'm surprised either.
That was out of respect for John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Is that a respect for their work?
think it's perfectly fine. It's on my big board. But hey.
You had Mamma Mia over Grease as well.
I appreciate it.
It's a 2/3 majority.
The panel spoken.
Okay.
Draft again.
I need a minute.
I'm still shocked. I wrote down.
Mom and Dad are not going to be happy with us, Ricky, when they hear that we vetoed.
I wrote down 2 names, PKO, that I thought you would pick, and I'm just shocked that neither one of them's on your board right now.
I'm tossed between these two, and I feel like one or both are definitely on that list.
All right, give it to us. What's your last pick?
I think I'm gonna have to go with. Never Been Kissed. Drew Barrymore.
All right. Yep, that was one of the two. That was one of the two.
I was torn.
Can I say the other honorable mention and see if it was on your list?
Yeah.
Go ahead, PKO.
Serendipity.
Yes.
Do it.
And then there's another one in the distance, but I knew you wouldn't pick it for a top 5. But please, Never Been Kissed. I know you're a big fan of this movie. Please speak to us about it.
Oh, well, this one, you got David Arquette, too. He's the one that really draws in the humor. I think he really brings it. And, I mean, actually, Drew Barrymore, the brownie scene, I mean, you can't tell me
That was
that's not
great.
hilarious.
Yep.
I was debating this
Archie.
pick. I was debating this pick, but also it's just I was thinking like this movie's a little creepy because they're like older people going back to high school, and like David Arquette's character kind of creepy, and then but it's like then Drew Barrymore is playing a student who's trying to like hook up with her teacher. It's just kind of has an awkward vibe to it a little bit, but it's still very funny. And I literally was debating between that and Pretty Woman as my final
I think
pick.
the awkward.
Can't believe Pretty Woman
the
didn't get
awkward
drafted.
moments. I know.
Not funny.
I feel like
anymore.
it's for the older generation. Yeah,
And-
I don't think it has enough humor, to be honest.
Since we're talking about honorable mentions, let me just run through the draft and then we'll throw out any names. We definitely missed a few. There's a bunch of rom-coms. So Ricky Flicks, 10 Things I Hate About You, Hitch, There's Something About Mary, 40-Year-Old Virgin, and The Wedding Singer. Nez has Love Actually, 50 First Dates, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Silver Linings Playbook, and Sleepless in Seattle. Dr. O has Crazy Rich Asians, Crazy Stupid Love, Knocked Up, The Proposal, She's Out of My League, and then PKO rounds us out with You Got Mail, Notting Hill, Friends with Benefits, Jerry Maguire, and Never Been Kissed. Nez, do you have any honorable mentions you want to list here?
Yeah, quite a few. I'm gonna start with we got Trainwreck, Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I thought you were picking that. I thought you were gonna pick it.
I almost did, and I said, you know what? Let me go with like a real classic here. She's All That. Surprised that didn't get.
Oh, excellent movie.
Yeah,
Excellent.
That should have gone
Movie.
picked. Got
It
Pretty
was
Woman,
on my big board. Didn't have it though.
Princess Bride, Coming to America, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Another classic I've seen a couple times.
My friend's gonna be pissed I didn't pick that one. That's her favorite movie. Shout out Hannah.
Shout out Hannah. Juno, Shrek.
We're doing it.
Controversial there. That would be a veto, in my opinion.
That would have been a veto.
There's two love storylines intertwined with it.
Honorable
Donkey
mentions,
and the
let 'em roll.
Dragon, and Shrek and Fiona, and then She's the Man.
She's the man.
She's the
Wow, what a
man.
throwback.
Great
Channing
movie.
Tatum, second appearance on the pod today. All right. Ricky Flex, do you have any honorable mentions you want to list here?
Okay, yeah. If I thought Dr. O, I thought when you were saying Apatow, I thought you were gonna go with the Big Sick, and I was gonna
On my list. It was on my list.
the other
was on
girl.
a movie.
That was on a lot of lists that I was looking at on the internet as like a top one.
It's just that
So good.
the girl's in a coma for most of the movie, so that's what I would have said
Oh.
if someone did
Wow,
pick
he was
it.
already Flick was already preparing his defense or his.
No, I wasn't
prosecution
going to
after that.
pick it,
Strategic.
but I thought of that when Dr. O here, or when Dr. O said he was picking an Apatow movie, so I thought he was picking that because I know he loves that movie. But some more on my big board. Long Shot, Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron movie. I actually really love that movie. Palm Springs. I think it's different than Groundhog Day, where they are on screen together like the whole time almost. So I think that would have counted, at least for me. 16 Candles. And then When Harry Met Sally. Failure to
That would
Launch.
have been on most lists. That would have been
Right.
most lists. Very
Yeah.
much
Failure
so.
to Launch.
And Failure to Launch, Terry Bradshaw. Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. Connie as a jerk just doesn't seem right, so I didn't want to pick it. And then Just Friends, and definitely maybe a couple Ryan Reynolds movies.
Oh, definitely maybe really has my heart.
I'm
yeah.
not a Just Friends guy.
Interesting.
PKO, I thought you were going to take definitely maybe.
I had it in there, but I thought it would get vetoed for not having enough comedy. But there are some really funny moments.
There
Like,
definitely are.
Also, some really lows where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to watch it.
There are
It's
lows.
so much.
Well, don't worry, you still got vetoed anyways. So
We're going to get so much
All right.
crap for that.
Can
PKO,
I give?
Yeah.
Yeah, honorable mentions. Okay, I don't know if you guys have heard of this movie, but Something Borrowed, great rom-com.
Mhm.
It's Kate Hudson is the one that adds the humor, but other than that, not a ton of humor. So I didn't have it too high out there, but overall, one of my top faves. And the boys are gonna laugh, but About Last Night, nice classic movie. Rob Lowe, Demi Moore.
Okay.
Nice.
Clueless,
Yep.
really enjoyed
Yep.
that one.
Paul Rudd also in that.
Oh yeah, And 13 going on 30.
That was the third one I was mentioning.
Hey.
I'm shocked.
I really was
Shocking.
this close to fifth round. Really had me stumped. I don't know what to choose here.
I just stumped. Any other ones, PKO?
I got one last one. No Strings Attached, which we mentioned earlier.
We
Right.
mentioned
Ashton
that one.
Kutcher,
Yeah,
Natalie
yeah.
Portman.
And
Great. I was gonna say great debut from PKO. Very nicely done in our first
Solid.
draft. Snaps.
Appreciate it,
and,
boys.
Flicks, what were you gonna say?
And one last one I forgot to mention. What Happens in Vegas. That one's on TV a lot. I actually do. I've grown a liking to that movie.
And yeah, I used to watch that a lot. It was on TV a lot. Cameron Diaz, Ashton Kutcher, what a duo. And then I just want to go Pretty Woman we missed, needed to be drafted. I also had Fever Pitch. We're Red Sox fans, no Fever Pitch.
Wow.
27
Didn't think of that.
27 dresses. Iconic Elton John
Another
scene.
top favorite of mine.
And I think that's pretty much it. I think, do we mention Pretty in Pink?
No.
Pretty in Pink, Say Anything.
Oh,
No,
say
that's
anything.
Come on, guys.
No.
I
We're
was-
stuck on
yo,
that one.
Could Wedding Crashers be drafted in this draft?
I was thinking
I
about
would
that.
allow
the
it.
duo movie, like Coming to America.
thought
I
about
didn't.
it.
I didn't picture that and Coming
Yeah.
to America more as rom-coms,
Oh, he's
more
going to
like the
find his
duos.
queen.
I know, but I picture that more as a duo thing. But I understand it.
Interesting.
Heavy comedy. And then I had Groundhog Day and Bull Durham. I had those on there. All right. I think that does it for the draft here. Top billing draft. Thanks again to PKO for showing up for this draft. It's one that we've been heavily anticipating, right? We wanted Peyton to join for a long time. Thank you for joining the Drive-In family. That's going to do it for episode 55 for the Drive-In podcast. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're at the Drive-In Pod. Make sure let us know that you're listening. Screenshot it, put it on your story. We'll share it and we'll give you a shout out on the pod. Thank you again for listening. We will smell ya.